Morning folks, it's Andy, the Expedition Hiker, and today we are in Hathersage. As you can see behind me, I stayed at North Leeds Campsite last night, and then today we are on a day walk, and then I'll head back towards Grindleford and then take the train. Today where are we walking? Well, we're going to go up to Stanage Edge, then over to Burbage Rocks, passing Burbage Bridge, then down to Longshaw Estate, passing White Edge Lodge, through to Never Padley, and then heading down to Grindleford. So let's get going. So just looking up at front, we're going to see, point it correctly, just about there. That's Robin Hood's cave on Stanage Edge. I've never looked at it from this angle before, but it is the one with the ledge. So if anybody wants to go up to it, that's the point it is. It's going towards the end of the ridge. If you see High Neb, the highest point of Stanage Edge, it's right of that for probably about a kilometre and a half from there. There's been a lot of old quarries along Stanage Edge, where back in the day they were mining for the gritstone to make millstones and other products. So the actual whole of Stanage Edge, I believe, is about 4 miles long, possibly a little bit longer. But anyway, we are going to continue walking. Now we're going to head up, and then we're going to pick up onto the Stanage Edge in a little while. Okay, we've just reached the top of Stanage Edge. I'm going to give you a view in a minute of what I can see. It's a bit breezy up here, so hopefully you can hear me under the microphone. So we're going to walk along Stanage Edge now, heading down towards Burbage Rocks. Beforehand we'll get to Burbage Bridge. Let me show you what I can see. We'll come across this way, up on the top. Here in front of us is Abney Moor. Moving across, we can see the works, limestone works of Bradwell. To the right of that is Pinfold Campsite. Then we can just see a bit of a gully. That would be Cavedale, and Pebble Castle would be up that direction. And then looking over across the hills, we've got Mamtor, where it slopes down and starts to go back up. That is Hollins Cross. Then it moves across and you can see a set of trees. That is Backtor, and then continuing along to Loose Hill or Loss Hill. And then the right hand side, there's another hill, a slightly darker one. That is Win Hill. So across the back is Kinder Plateau, and moving across we can see Bleaklow right in the distance, and then the edge of Stanage Edge. Good old view from here, although it's a bit misty, a bit cloudy, but overall it's a good old day out. So I've also just come across 3 people. They're walking up Stanage Edge. Politely pointed out to them that they were using their trekking poles wrongly, so I give them a few tips on how to use trekking poles. So that might be a video I might do in the near future, so look out for that. So we're coming to another trig point, so obviously you know what I've got to do. I've got to touch the trig. Now I'm not entirely sure what this one's called. We are at 457 metres above sea level. That is our view. But Cowper stone is near it, so let's go with Cowper stone trig. So OSBM S2156. What trig it is. And the usual anchor points. So these points here, these are anchor points, and obviously it would have been a helicopter that would have dropped it down, well not actually dropped it, but brought it down to this point, so it would have hooked onto those 3 points from the helicopter. And they show the directions of the next trig points. So obviously there's one heading off in that direction. So there is a trig on Abney Moor, so I presume that's the trig point in that direction. Looking this way, next trig. So that's the reason why they have 3 points on the top of the trig point. So as I say, it's a trig, triangulation pillar. And what they do is each of those points to where the next trigs will be in the direction to go. So 3 points, and then you get to the next trig and that will point to 3 pillars as well. One of them would be pointing to this one. So if you went to the next trig point off one of these, then it would point back to this one, and then 2 other points to other trig points. Obviously generally trig points are at higher ground, but you do occasionally see a trig point at lower ground. There is on the Cromford Canal in Derbyshire as you get to one of the bridges, so they're not necessarily at high points. So I'm just looking ahead as we're at the trig point, and the Cowper stone in front of us, a place I've done a wild camp before. Directly in front is Higgers Tor. The path to take it up there is called the Fiddler's Elbow, and then beyond that you just can't really make it out from here, but the other side of it is Coles Walk. Coles Walk is an ancient iron fortress. Now if you look at it from this angle, Cowper stone, on the right hand side it looks like somebody's face, so it looks like a bloke with a flat cap on but quite big nose. Usually, it doesn't matter what time of year, there's always an ice cream van there. So we're just walking up to Upper Burbage Bridge. Water's a bit brown here, obviously the peat running down from the peat hills. But next stop, ice cream van. So just looking into the valley. Now this woodland, so if this sheep quiets down a little bit, woodlands in front used to be quite large. You can see the perimeter of where it used to be. It had a disease, well, as you can see, most of it had to be chopped down due to it. Now on the right hand side, the edge that we can see, that's Coles Walk, the old iron fortress that I slept on a few months ago. On in. You're looking for someone? Talking to sheep again. He's got horns, this one though, so he might charge me. I think his partner's over here. The problem is there's a kissing gate in the way. I don't know how they're going to get from one end to the other. So this is Upper Burbage. And another dog that's off its lead. That's these sheep. Another irresponsible walker, dog off a lead, and then obviously the dog was ended up chasing the sheep. Now, as I've mentioned this before, if a farmer was here and the landowner of those sheep saw that, they could shoot the dog on sight because it's scaring their livestock. So, a warning for anybody: keep your dog on a lead. Even if it's a long lead, as long as you can keep control of it, then you'll be safe. If you get your dog shot, who's to blame? You, or the dog, or the landowner? So that's Upper Burbage Bridge. As you can see, I've decided to take the lower route along Burbage Rocks. There's a reason for that. The footpath deviates away from the rocks at some point, and that's the way I want to go. As I'm walking down here this path, there is believed to be a few millstones dotted about. So let's see if we can spot any. The only problem is, over the summer months, The bracken grows quite tall, as you can see here, about 3 or 4 feet high, so it hides the millstones. And occasionally you do see rocks with markings in them. So Charles Jeanette, 1962. So one a moment ago it said 1931. I'm sure I'm going to see some others. It does mention that millstones have been quarried around this area since the 17th century, and before that these areas have been used as quarries for quarried stone all the way back down to the Romans. Gritstone is a good strong stone which is actually quite manageable to work with, I think, with the right tools. Not sure if yellow hammers or not. There's loads of them. Not sure if it's, no, I think it's a bit big for yellow hammer. Could be a bunting, warbler. There's quite a few of them dotted around here. Well, it's moving, so surprising it's just standing there for something. Yeah, it's about to move as well. Yeah, it's some sort of bird, pheasant or something else. You can see the plantation that was once here. All the trees all have been chopped down, although you can see the regrowing new trees in their places. So although the disease killed them off, new generation is coming. And then directly in front we can see Coles Walk, the old iron fortress. Which came first, chicken or the egg, or who or the stone? So I found a millstone hidden away in the bracken. The stone to the right, you can see it's got a circular shape. Now there are a lot of them. Now that looks quite small, so I think that's more of a pulp stone rather than a millstone. Pulp stones are usually about 4 feet across. I would say from that, it looks about 4 feet. It is either a fire pit or a trough. A trough where water could be get from, so where the quarry workers would collect water from. Because other than the odd stream, not much natural sources around here of water. There's a mound just over there. I did think that might be a cairn or something, an ancient burial ground. But again, this area was a quarry. That's the reason why there's a lot of loose stone around this area. You can see the stone over there, nice clean sheer edge. So that's been probably quarried in the past. We're going to cross this way, walk through the woodlands a bit, and then we'll head up to Longshaw Lodge, where I'm hoping I might get a coffee. So this is one of the gatehouses to the Longshaw Estate. There are a few dotted all over the estate. The estate is quite big. As the next part of the walk, we'll be walking through the estate. So just stopped off at Longshaw Cafe and got bacon cob, some ketchup and coffee. And well, packet crisps for later as well. So, question of the day. Are you a ketchup or a brown sauce person for your bacon cobs? So just write in the comments, ketchup or brown sauce. We'll have a poll, we'll see who's the most popular. Your bacon cob or sausage cob, ketchup or brown sauce. I was saying we're looking for millstones. Well, there's plenty here. They're dotted around all over the shop. Now these are all pulp stones. So this is a pulp stone. This is the top stone. This is the alternative base pulp stone. A lot deeper, about 24 inches deep. So this is Longshaw Lodge today. Actually, it's now private residence, run by the National Trust, but they lease it out so into apartments. I think it's been broken up into 8 different apartments. And there are some offices within it as well. It is a big estate. There has been settlements here dating back to the Bronze Age and the Romans and medieval periods too. And since the 1700s is when the Longshaw Lodge was built, and it was originally built as a hunting lodge. Now the marquees here are most likely to represent for sheepdog trials. I think they've been going since 1888 and they're held every year, and it's actually the longest running sheepdog trials place in England. Now I'm not sure if it's around this year or last year due to COVID, but I'm sure every other year it has. Right, we are off. We're just leaving the Longshaw Lodge and the cafe, which is very nice. A little bit expensive, but very nice. £4 for a little sandwich, and I mean little. Half a slice of bread basically. I'm now heading up towards Little John's Well. So there's numerous walks you can take along the Longshaw Estate, some longer than others. So we're heading towards White Edge Lodge, which is still part of the Longshaw Estate, and that is at least a mile away. As we can see down there, we can see there's a path being made, and then there's just some heaps of grass, looks like reeds, and that is actually Little John's Well. Okay, we're going to continue along, and we're coming towards day 625. An old silver birch tree that's actually grown in a funny angle, and also you can see it's a good climbing tree for youngsters. Here we can see another millstone. So you'll see loads of these dotted about. It's mainly because the demand was high at one point, and all of a sudden it didn't become a demand, and then all the quarries closed down, and there's quite a few millstones just sit all over the Peak District. So looking back at where we've been today, we can just see the edge of Stanage Edge, and that Stanage Edge is Stanage Pole, an ancient boundary marker. Now that's not the only ancient boundary marker in the area, because we've got one just here. Now there are two within the Longshaw Estate, there are two guide strips as well within the stones. They do tell you directions of different locations and how far they are. Right, next we're going to head over that direction, get to the junction, and you can just see a path that way. I'm going to follow this way, and that's where we're aiming for, the building over there, which is the White Edge Lodge. As it says, National Trust wooden pole. So it's a boundary marker, as I mentioned before. This is White Edge Lodge. Basically, it's a gamekeeper's cottage. Now, although it was built around 1850 by the Duke of Rutland, this is one of two lodges, and the other one being Thickwood Lodge. Now you can actually rent it out. It's part of the National Trust. So, but the only problem being is it's in its location, being a gamekeeper's cottage, there's not much about. And we've got a lot of marshlands all around us here and heathland. You can just see there's a capped off entrance, which could be an old mine, or it could be a well, an old well. It's an interesting building. Well, according to the map, there is a clear footpath just here, a proper footpath, not just a track. Can you see it? Because I can't. Well, I think we'll just have to plod this way and hope for the best. Well, we found something. It's not very clearly marked. I think probably one person's walked on this ever. Well, that proves it was a path. Look, there's a gate here. So that's the only sort of like point I've found that it was a path. Even the gate looks a bit overgrown. This is looking a little bit better. At least it's got a signpost to tell me which way to go. It's better, but not by much. It looks like two people have walked down this bit. Right, just as I've gone through all that bracken and everything, I've just done a quick tick check, and I cannot find any ticks, so I think I was lucky on that occasion. Now that is a point why you see a lot of walkers with light coloured trousers. If anybody didn't know, because the lighter they are, the easier it is to spot ticks. So lighter clothing is always good. I wear black trousers in the winter. You don't see so many of them in the winter, but generally I try to wear lighter colours in the summer months, so I can see if I've got ticks on me. You can see where I'm going again now, Yellow Brick Road. Well, the beige brownie road, the gritty road. Follow the gritstone road, follow the gritstone road. This will take us down towards those trees and then into the woodlands. So we can just see there is Millstone Edge, and looking across into the Hope Valley. We've got Sir William Hill, and then coming into the lower peaks of the White Peak area of Derbyshire. Why are you going in that direction? I nearly fell over about 3 times going down there. Slippery as hell. So this is the summer. Wait till the winter climbing down there. I fear not. But on the other hand, as I say, an ancient woodland. It does look like that. And one of the things about it is I keep hearing, it sounds like someone screaming. It's like a woman screaming. I've heard about 3 times walking down this woodland. It's just like a short scream. It sounds the same every time, but it's up in that direction. Spooky forest. You know what that means? Might be a good one for a wild camp. You know, I like my wild camps with a bit of interest to them. See if we can come across this screaming lady. We'll find out why she's screaming. Maybe I will leave here screaming. Who knows? Another day though, not today. I'll think about that. Do a bit of research on it. Find out who the screaming lady is, if there is a screaming lady. There may be a lady watching me right now, which will be interesting because not many women have looked at me for a while. I've been single a long time. I can work out which way I'm going. Either that way or that way, I presume. Let's go for this way. Wow, did you hear that? Did you hear the lady screaming? But there was a screaming noise behind me. Maybe there is somebody watching me because it got a bit closer than when I was up there. If it's Tinder, swipe right if you like the look of me. Even if you are a ghost, I'll take anything nowadays. So this is the entrance to Totley Tunnel. As it says above it, 1893, and at the time it was the second longest rail tunnel in England. You can see it there. Number 9 Totley Tunnel is 6,230 yards. So there's 1,760 yards in a mile. There's 1,623 metres in a mile. And the opposite side of this, you come out indoor on the outskirts of Sheffield. I mean, Sheffield is about 11 miles away from here, so you go through this tunnel for half of it. Anyway, Grindleford station, here we come. Oops, it seems I forgot to press record when I was doing my outro to this video. I think that maybe the scary lady spooked me enough to forget to press record. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video and plenty more coming soon. So until then, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye hikers.